Good morning, everyone. It's time to go on the record.
Send a senator to Washington who will fight to keep our streets and our families safe. And I will be that senator.
He bested two primary challengers. Now Republican Geoff Diehl has 8 weeks to try and unseat incumbent Democrat Elizabeth Warren. Fresh from his win, Diehl is our guest today.
It will be a grassroots effort that relies on regular people.
The Gonzalez-Baker head-to-head begins. Can Jay Gonzalez's vision for the Commonwealth unseat the popular Republican Charlie Baker? The margin is razor thin between two Merrimack Valley Democrats in their fight for Congress as Lori Trahan declares victory.
It's not just good enough to see the Democrats back in power, but it matters who those Democrats are.
Heading to Washington, Ayanna Pressley stuns a 20-year incumbent claiming a seat in Congress. And
questions for Democrats in November post-Pressley.
From WCVB Channel 5, the inside word from Washington to Beacon Hill. Today's newsmakers are going on the record.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ed Harding, along with News Center 5's political reporter Janet Wu. Thank you for joining us on the record this morning. And our guest is Geoff Diehl, handily beating two Republicans in the primary to take on Senator Elizabeth Warren in November. He's 49 years old. The conservative is a state representative from Whitman. Diehl co-chaired Donald Trump's 2016 presidential campaign here in Massachusetts. First, congratulations on your primary win. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thanks, Ed. Appreciate you having me here. Thanks, Janet.
And so now the run really begins, doesn't it?
It does.
So your support for President Trump has been a central issue in your campaign, with revelations in a book that's about to come out this next week, and an op-ed piece that showed up just last week. It cites senior officials inside of his administration who say the president has the worst inclinations, he's amoral, and he has to be protected from himself by his staff. Are you worried when you read all of this?
Well, first of all, we've seen a lot of staff changeover in the Trump administration since the day he started. So, you know, that's going to continue, I'm sure, because just like when he changed campaign managers, he's trying to put the best team on the field. This campaign, obviously, Elizabeth Warren's going to want to talk about the president, and I'm going to want to talk about Massachusetts. And I think that's what this race will ultimately focus on. What I'm going to focus on is my record of delivering for Massachusetts. Basically, she has been MIA since she took office, put Massachusetts in the rearview mirror. That's what we need to focus on.
So you're going to walk away from the fact that you were chairman of his campaign here in Massachusetts when he ran for president, and you're going to sort of not talk about your support about him during this campaign. Is that correct?
I think the president's delivered on all the promises he was talking about, whether it's internationally, whether it's the economy. Massachusetts is enjoying some of the lowest unemployment in the country, 3.5%.
But you're not worried at all by all these revelations about how he has to be protected from himself, that he's volatile, and that he his inclinations are just wrong by folks that work for him that want him to succeed.
I think the wrong inclinations are Senator Warren when she makes statements like the criminal justice system being racist from front to back. When we have law enforcement officers in Massachusetts that could use her support, instead she goes the other way. Those are the inclinations I'm worried about. I want to make sure that they're supported and the people of Massachusetts.
Do you want the president to come here and campaign for you?
If he comes, I certainly would welcome it.
Let's talk about Senator Warren, because first of all, is it fair to say that you tell voters that she has already abandoned Massachusetts and she's running for president? Is that fair?
She was on Meet the Press, I think it was a few months ago, asked 4 times would she serve the full 6 years. She declined to answer the question. We put a pledge to her. I've said I will serve the full 6 years as a U.S. Senator working for Massachusetts. She won't answer those questions.
So you believe she has greater things than just being the senator from Massachusetts for
I
the
think
next
it's pretty
6 years.
clear. When she sends staffers up to New Hampshire to start working on a pre-presidential run, I think it's pretty clear.
So given that, I would love for you to give us concrete reasons what she has done to abandon Massachusetts.
Well, I mean, let's just look at, you used to have somebody, Ted Kennedy was someone who, I think, despite any moral issues that he had, you know, things that didn't exactly, you know, go well in his personal life, he always delivered for Massachusetts, and people here respected and put him into office over and that again. And she has been taking votes against the best interests of our state, whether it was the 21st Century Cures Act, which gave millions of dollars to fight the opioid crisis. She voted against it, even though every other Democrat from Massachusetts in Congress voted for that. Were they all wrong to try to support the effort to stop the opioid crisis, or was she wrong? And that's one vote. She voted against the tax reform bill that is giving Massachusetts businesses the chance to hire more people. That's why we have the low unemployment.
Just about every
Give
Democrat
wage increases.
voted against it. Against that
And that's
as
why
well,
we need
did
a
they not?
Republican in Washington to support the working people of Massachusetts.
The Boston Globe has concluded that the senator never took advantage of her Native American heritage. So is this still a campaign issue for you?
We've never talked about it other than the fact that she never really proved why she deserved 2 minority hiring positions. I think that still that report leaves some questions as to why she did ultimately go from not listed to listed as a Native American. But again, our focus is more on Elizabeth Warren's record or lack thereof in delivering.
So you're not
from
going to bring it up
Massachusetts.
again? It's a dead issue as far as you're concerned.
I certainly don't need to bring it up, obviously, because a lot of people keep talking about it.
But if the president shows up in town, that could be something different, though, correct?
Whether it's the president or it's the Globe, there still seems to be some questions about it, and I guess she's going to have to answer that herself.
You tell Massachusetts voters that you will keep them safe. You're on the same page as President Trump when it comes to things like sanctuaries, cities, immigrants, and guns. Are you using the same campaign blueprint as the president? And is it a campaign based primarily on fear?
No. Look, I have members of my family who are in law enforcement. I hear the stories all the time. My daughter's friend, her father's the dare officer in the town of Whitman. I understand what these people go through when they put the suit on every day, go out to protect our families, our communities. This is about trying to make sure the rule of law is followed. When we have a Senate that's trying to enact sanctuary policy, when we have judges like Tim Feely that are putting criminals back on the street, that law enforcement risk their lives to get off the street and the drugs with them. We have a real problem when you have a senator like Elizabeth Warren calling for the elimination of ICE, people that are trying to do the right thing and make sure that those criminals who are here illegally and committing crimes are deported.
So this is not a campaign of fear then?
No, I mean, it's public policy that makes sense, making sure that our communities are kept safe. I don't know why this is hard for people to understand. The Democrat Party seems to be moving away from, common sense laws that we should be following and promoting, in some cases, people who are here illegally over American citizens.
So it does sound like a campaign that's pretty close to what President Trump ran for when he became president, when he ran for president, no?
You know what, you can do your analysis of the president's campaign, but I think what he delivered on was economic reform that's giving, again, our country more stability internationally with trade, and it's certainly creating, like I said, the economic conditions that are giving Massachusetts a better chance for families to have money to send their kids to college, make sure that they can retire when they're supposed to, and I think those are some things that people really hope for.
So let's pick up on that. You've been a state rep for, what, 7 years? You have about 7 years?
I'm finishing my 8th year.
You're finishing your 8th year doing that. So you're not, and we've talked a lot about what you oppose. You oppose Senator Warren, you oppose the gas tax. What issues have you led on? Let's go down that path. What have you led on?
Well, I think, first of all, when I got into office, a lot of people were suffering from the mortgage foreclosure crisis. I got legislation passed to try to help with that. Of course, the opioid crisis was something that I think Governor Baker came in, and I was happy to be a part of supporting that work. Look, there's been, I think, on Beacon Hill, an attempt to try to work towards improving money back to our local towns. I mean, when I was running for the state rep for the first time in 2010, I was on the finance committee in my town of Whitman, and the state had been cutting back on police training, funding for police training, Chapter 70 education funds. We were able to reverse those trends, and that's something that I've been proud to be a part of.
You were once a registered Democrat, and you even supported Democrats like Tom Riley and Joe Biden. Some might conclude that you've been a politician of expediency. If you are not, explain why you've changed so dramatically, politically, over the last 15 years or so.
First time I ran for office was in 2010. I was 40 years old. Other than going out to vote, I never was involved in politics at all. It's not expediency. It's a Democrat Party that's changed over time. My parents both are still Democrats. My mother was a union worker from the day she started till 40 years later when she retired. I think the values have changed. I think that the Republican Party is standing for individual freedom, limited government, and I think fighting for the working people right now in a way Democrats have forgotten about.
It must be interesting at the Thanksgiving table if your parents are Democrat and you're not.
It's all right. It's great to get all those differing views.
All right. Well, speaking of differing views, we have hit the OTR pop quiz. You ready for the OTR pop quiz?
Let's give it a shot.
You've had a good week, so who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? All right. The theme for this week's OTR pop quiz is a political potpourri. Question 1. The war in Afghanistan is approaching 17 years, the longest war in U.S. history. 2,400 Americans have died. How many have been wounded? And I'll give you an option. Is it 10,000? Is it 20,000? We're talking rough numbers, not exact. 10,000, 20,000, or 40,000?
I'm going to go with, I'm going to guess Up to 40,000.
It's 20,000, but it's a lot anyway.
You know,
The
when I
number is
talk
high.
to veterans who've come back, the VA system still needs to be upgraded. We're dealing with 21st century battlefields where people are surviving their wounds in a way that they hadn't previously. We need to make sure our health care for veterans is up to speed as well.
Question 2. Who has been sworn in to fill for the U.S. Senate seat of the late John McCain?
Oh, that's a great question. I think this week has been a blur. I may have missed that one.
Republican John Kyle of Arizona, who served 3 terms in the Senate before he retired back in 2012. We'll be right back with Jeff Deal, and we'll continue with the OTR Pop Quiz. Stay with us.